She loves me and she wants to be here and she loves being here. Ugh. I promise my next video related purchase will be a microphone. I got myself a new tripod, so I'm at like an actual nice angle, and I would like a microphone because I like talking with my hands. I want to be able to click one. Anyway, hello, welcome back. My name is Emily. Today we're doing a bit of a different video. It's gonna be a yapping one. I love a yapping video. I love to yap. I wanted to talk about like all year so far, 2026, I've been meaning to make like a kind of like my ins and outs or my systems, my goals, my things for 2026, but I haven't done it yet. And then I thought about it. I'm actually not late. I'm actually not late to this at all. It's not even Chinese New Year yet. That's tomorrow. So I'm actually right on time. Everything's okay. I am kind of like lumping everything together and like doing a bit of everything. I'll talk some of like my personal ins and outs, I guess, as well as like some systems and ideas that I'm using to like hopefully guide my 2026 into a good just a good year for me. One of my main things this year is like, I know people have said how instead of doing resolutions, they have like a word that they strive towards. I think for me it's mindfulness, which I think can be kind of like a bullshit word, you know what I mean? I think it just really relates to how I want to approach everything. I want to be mindful about how I'm spending my time, what I'm spending my money on, what I'm consuming, like both in terms of media and also even food, and just like how I'm treating myself and my body. I just want to be more aware and intentional about all of those things. So a lot of the things I'll be talking about in this are like related to the idea of like being more mindful and aware. So the first thing I have written down in my little notebook is that I am using physical notebooks this year. And I was last year. I used them a lot last year, but I'm like very much been doing it this year. I have barely touched my Notion. I think part of that is also because like Notion was very helpful for academic stuff. But guys, I don't know if you heard, but I finished uni now, so I don't actually need to do that. My planning is a lot simpler because I don't have to worry about classes or like scheduling when to study and doing assignments and stuff like that. And I don't need to be writing notes on readings and lectures. But I still have things that I'd like to write down. I've been doing that and I've been doing it in a physical book. I think it's like better. It works better for me when it comes to like fleshing out and actually like figuring out thoughts that I'm having, because it comes out more stream of consciousness when I'm writing. Even though typing is quicker, it just feels so much more formal because I associate it so heavily with university and like taking academic notes and stuff. So like I type things and I'm like, this is for an essay. But sometimes I just need to like put down in a physical way what is in my head. Yeah, it's been very helpful. If you're wondering what my journal ecosystem for the year is, I just have three kind of. I have my Hobonichi weeks. This is the first time I've bought a Hobonichi. I really like it. It's very similar to how I would use my Notion, in that every week I have like my schedule and to-do list. So it's been pretty good. I've been using it. It's good. I've decorated it with some stickers, some got Sylvanian families and stuff on the front, as well as a sticker from Casmong and I think Rochelle the fish. And then on the back I have the card from my Melody Skull Panda and a sticker from Katarina Lou. And then I have this notebook that I'm using, which I'm calling it my commonplace notebook. I don't know if that's technically what a commonplace is. I feel like when I first heard about them, it was more to do with like talking about media and stuff you consumed, but I call it commonplace in that everything is in here. Basically, if I have a thought, it goes in here. We have like all of my thoughts about what I want to do for the year, as well as notes on books I've been reading, which has also been good. I think taking notes on books I'm reading has been a way for me to keep my brain going, now that I'm not doing academic stuff. But also just like if I have a day that I need to plan, it goes down. I often take this to work and just like write stuff on my break. So I had like a whole 2 pages about the movie The Covenant, which I kind of want to make into a video at one point, but we shall see. Got like basic like budgeting stuff and then what I'm going to talk about in this video. So it's just a good spot to put everything. The other one that I have is my sketchbook, which also sometimes becomes a journal. I like junk journaling. This for me is the best place to put all of that stuff. We have like my vision board that I showed in one of my other videos, as well as what's some more recent ones. Yeah, I went to my friend's house and we did some scrapbooking together. So it's just that. Sometimes they're just like random collagey things which feel like a journal, but then other times they're like, this is all my scraps from like a specific event or like day or something. So it feels more diary like. But I'm not the kind of person that likes to have a like day-to-day diary. I just like, a lot of my days are very similar, so like I don't have any interest in writing that down. The next thing is when it comes to like money. Last year I tried to do a low buy, didn't really work, did not do it. I love spending money, unfortunately. I love buying trinkets, and I kept wanting to like find other things that filled the hole that buying something often would like fill for me. So like if I'm feeling sad, I'd want to buy a trinket or a little treat or something, and I always say like I'm gonna do this instead of doing that, but it wasn't the same, because you need that, like, well, I needed that like quick dopamine rush of like acquiring a new item. So it didn't work, and I didn't really sit down and go, I'm gonna do that again this year. But going back to that word, I do just want to in general be more mindful of what I'm buying and like why I'm buying something. I think for me, a lot of my money would just go to like food and like eating out, because I hate making food for myself. I've been trying to get better at that, and I think I have in a lot of ways. I've definitely been buying food out less, and just thinking like, okay, well, I'm buying this, but I could just like go home and eat this thing that I know that we have, and it's like easy and it's fine, and I'll feel better about it in the long run. Same with like trinkets, and like when I say trinkets, I mostly mean blind boxes. Oh my god, guys, I low-key have a gambling addiction when it comes to blind boxes, but I've been getting better. Did I buy 2 the other day? Yeah, this is one of them. But sue me, you know? But just like thinking about, why do I want this? What is it serving in my life? Do I want to have to declutter it, like if I move house again? You know? I think that's been really helpful. The main ones for me are like that I can just be like, no, I don't need that. I like stationery and makeup. I have so many pens and shit, and I just have like 3 that I like. So I'm just going to keep using those 3 until I need to buy more. Same with makeup. I have like everything I need, apart from white eyeliner, because my white eyeliner went moldy. Guys, what the hell? Why could they do that? I mean, they're water activated, and I left too much water in, so that's why I could do that. But evil nonetheless. But yeah, for me, I also really want to be aware, like my main thing is thinking about clothing and clothing that I buy. I kind of decided I didn't want to buy any clothes from physical stores in Canberra, which kind of goes against like a lot of other ethos that I have about wanting to like inspire more community stuff and the general evilness and like overconsumption that online shopping creates. But for me, I think it's the opposite. I'm not a person who like buys a lot of stuff and then just like returns half of it because they either don't like it or like they just like wanted it for an event. I hate that. I hate dealing with returns. I hate doing all that. Like I had to send some shorts back once because I bought the wrong size. Like I hate when I do that, and it's like a whole ordeal. I just want the thing that I want. But like if I'm shopping in physical stores, I end up being more impulsive because I don't have the little calculator telling me how much money this is going to cost, and I can't just look at it forever and ever and ever and keep coming back to it. I like have to, there's like a pressure to just like purchase it and leave, and that's not necessarily like always a bad thing. You know, buying clothes in person can be really helpful, obviously, because you can try it on, but I like a more alternative, I guess, stuff. I quite often don't see clothes that I like in stores very often, and on top of that, I'm a bigger girl. I can't fit into most straight sizes. I need like a 16 or above, so a lot of stores in person don't even carry that size. So like, what is the point? I like want to not just go into Dangerfield every few months and spend like $100 and something on stuff that is cute but isn't wonderful quality. I would rather like save my monies, and I have a few items that I like want to work up to and get from like slightly more expensive and ones that I can't shop in person, but I think are going to make me feel better about the purchase in the long run. You know what I mean? When it comes to buying, I also don't want to buy yarn unless I need it immediately. I have such a big yarn stash. It's in a massive Ziploc bag from when we moved, and I don't have any use for so much of it. Like, it's such awkward amounts where it's not like, oh, this is just like a little scrap. Like, I don't have any scrap projects I want to work on because a lot of the colors are not cohesive. Like the colors that I have are not cohesive enough to want to be, I want them all in one garment, but they're not enough to like be their own garment. So I really want to cut back on my yarn purchasing and just buy stuff for like, this is the exact project that I need this for, and I am going to work on it when I get home, because I just have so many bits of yarn, like large amounts from things that I said I was going to start and then never did, as well as like patterns sitting in my laptop collecting dust and wasting space because I bought them at one point and now I don't want to make them. Last thing I don't want to buy, now as we're talking about money, is fiction books. I got a library card last year. Woohoo! I've borrowed 2 books so far. They were great. Most of them I haven't like read like consistently or like really at all for the last 10 years of my life, and it's only this year that I've really gotten into it. And I've gotten into it. I read like 5 books this year so far. Crazy for me. I read like 4 books in the entirety of last year, and one was like a 60-page novella. And so a lot of the books I want are like, or like when I read, are older. And when I say older, I mean like a year, like 2-3 years old. Like I'm like, let me get into Sally Rooney, you know? So I don't need to be buying new to be able to access them. Libraries have them, and the way that the Canberra library system works is because the state is so small, you have access to like the whole state system and you can request it from anywhere. So I have access to a pretty good collection of stuff, and I'm going to continue using that. I specify fiction though because I also like, I've been reading nonfiction this year and I really enjoy annotating them, and I also want to have them on hand if I ever want to like revisit the stuff in it for a video or something, or if it just comes back up in like, if I go back to doing research of like school stuff, if I need it then, because a lot of it is related to like my area of study interest and stuff. But yeah, I also really want to get into annotating books and having them like be used, you know what I mean? I really want to prioritize my health this year. Obviously this is a pretty blanket, or like not blanket, but like basic statement to say, guys, in the new year I'm being healthy. But I have always not had a good relationship with health and my body. Even trying to do healthy stuff, like quote unquote healthy, or like do better things for my body can be difficult for me. Trigger warning for the next bit. I'll put a timestamp when I'm going to stop talking about EDs, but I'm about to talk about my eating disorder for a bit. Basically, I have an ED. I don't have any specific one. I'm just diagnosed with other. Basically, like it's called like OzFed, which is just like secret third option. In that I just have a lot of disordered thoughts, and things affect me a lot more than someone who doesn't have an eating disorder or whatever. I've always not had a very good relationship with my body. As I said, I'm a bit bigger, and as a woman that can be very difficult to, it's difficult to be like a plus size woman in this society that prioritizes and like idolizes skinniness so much and associates skinniness with being healthy. It's always been a struggle. And then 2 years ago almost, I got diagnosed with, hey, those thoughts aren't just like you feeling bad, those are like actually really harmful to you and you shouldn't feel like that. It's very easy for me to slip into those thoughts even when I'm trying to be good, because a lot of them just lead back to, this will make you lose weight, this will make you skinnier, this will be good for you because you'll be skinny, which is not wonderful. It's not great. So whenever I do anything, I have to really make sure it's with the intention or the mindset of, this is for my health, not this is for my appearance, because the two aren't linked. One does not dictate the other, and I just have to remember that and like just make sure I'm not just giving in to my disordered thoughts. So it's something that I talk to my therapist about and talk with doctors about, to make sure that I'm doing okay, but it ebbs and flows, you know. Because of the way my disorder is, I'm like, it's mostly just my thoughts. I never have crossed into proper harmful actions, thankfully. But it means there's no like clear cut of like, oh, I'm in it, or no, I'm in recovery now. It's always just kind of like a management thing. But anyway, I really wanted to get more healthy this year. When we were at home, Imogen and I got really into stretching. We were like, this is great. Just like working on our own mobility and flexibility. Because I'm 23, but I feel like I have the joints of like a 50-year-old, even more so. Bending and like going up and down, always been difficult. I've never been able to touch my toes. And I've always blamed that on the fact that my arms are shorter than my torso. Like, they're not proportioned quite well. But it's also just because I have bad mobility. Like, I've never tried. I've never stretched. So we're getting into that. We're doing that. I've also tried to get into running. I kind of was enjoying it for a bit. My stamina is really bad, so I couldn't do it for very long. Like, it'd be like a 1 minute on, 1 minute off situation. But running, like, kind of fucks up your body, guys. I didn't realize this because I've never done it. But oh my God, I was talking to my mom and my brother about it, and they are both like runners. My brother's about to do a marathon. My mom has done like ultra trail things before, and they're like, yeah, it just does that. And truly, what is that about? Because running is like the healthy thing. It's like, oh, you're like this, do running. Like, it'll help your cardio and your respiratory and your heart and like everything. But oh my God, my knees were sore for like 3 days. I would get a headache for the whole day afterwards, no matter how much water I drank. And I feel nauseous. So I've been cooling down on that, and I'm going to work on other things before I then do the running, because like, I also rejoined a gym. I left my gym when we moved because it wasn't close by anymore. And it was bad vibes, low-key. Like, now that I've been to a different one, I was like, whoa, that one was so stressful. But I went the other day. It was chill. And I don't know. I don't feel as scared or as like opposed to exercise as I used to. I'm like, yes, I love using and moving my body. I love feeling stronger. Wow. I already talked about like monetary and like buying consumption, but I've also always on the brain of what media I'm consuming. I said this like almost a year ago in that video I made about like wanting to live a slow life, how I really want to be more mindful about like the media I'm consuming and trying to not watch like slop content, which still rings true. I do catch myself watching it sometimes, not so much at the moment because I'm a bit busier, but when I wasn't working as much a few weeks ago, I'd be watching it. But I really am trying to avoid it. I watched a video recently. I can't remember. It blew up a bit. I'll pop it on screen. But it was about like what the science actually says about like brain rot content, talking about how like awful, specifically short form video content is for your brain. And I've been thinking about that. I literally sat down to film this and then got stuck watching YouTube shorts for 30 minutes. And it was just like clips of ER and like Nurse Jackie. So, you know, it's truly evil. But at the same time, as I'm on my like social media short form content bad, I also want to take my art and like this career, I don't know, aspirations seriously this year. And that means posting Instagram reels. Oh, evil. I have to consume them a little bit to see what works and like what other people are doing and like what's successful for them. And then that leads me to consuming them a lot. Because guys, I'm not just watching the art ones. I also end up watching a lot of heated rivalry edits, okay? But then I just feel bad, and that's so annoying. So still working out how to like go watch for a bit and then go, I'm done now. I've seen what I need to see. Let me do this thing. But then at the same time, you have to contend with like, oh, I'm now aware how evil and bad this thing is, but I want to contribute to it. Because as an artist, it's like low-key the only way to have a career these days. To be an artist independently, like not working for a studio. But even then, working for studios suck at the moment. There's no jobs in that apparently. I wouldn't know. I've never tried. There's no jobs anywhere, low-key. But you have to also be an influencer. You have to be able to market yourself and do all this stuff on social media. And it's really annoying because like, I don't want to do that. I just want to do all my things. But then you have to post and post and post. And obviously I'm not the first person to say this. So many small businesses and creators have talked about how much having to do all that stuff sucks. Especially because I think a lot of people were wanting to be less online. It is now a status symbol to be offline and like going analog. But a lot of the people who want to do that are creatives. And unfortunately, you have to be online to have a career in a lot of ways. Because even if you're wanting to go via more traditional routes of making money, places will still ask you or like expect you to have some form of social media presence as a way of like insurance that you're like good for it, you know what I mean? So it sucks, but alas, you should like and subscribe and watch my Instagram and like those reels and interact with me, because my dreams, my California dreams, okay? One way that I've been helping keep track of my goals and everything, so things like my spending as well as my social media usage and like lowering it and doing more exercise, is through punch cards. I feel like they were like, people were making them, like a lot of people were making them at the beginning of the year. That's where I got the idea from. They're kind of epic, you guys, because it supplements getting a little treat. My mother unfortunately raised me expecting a little treat. If I did something as a child, like several times, like I remember when I was learning to be potty trained, if I did it so many nights in a row, I would get a new Barbie. And that has ruined my brain, because now I need to treat myself whenever I do something hard. Oh, I submitted an essay? A little treat. Oh, I had a hard day at work? A little treat. And it's not always feasible or good for me. But getting to mark off a little thing, that's good. That ticks the same part of my brain. So I have 3. I have one for keeping my screen time low. I have one for not spending money. And then I have one for doing exercise. And it's pretty good. It's pretty epic. At the end of it, I do get a treat. But all of them are like, I have to do it like 40 times, which is far more reasonable than like once a week. You know what I mean? So that's been great. The other final thing is that I've been really trying to socialize more, and it's been great. I've been spending more time with friends, and then when you do something more often, it becomes less scary. So I don't feel as nervous about social interactions and hangouts and just like messaging people to hang out. It's still a bit scary, but less so, which is wonderful. Sorry if you can hear Imogen making dinner. I don't like closing doors, so the door is slightly open. I don't know why, it just makes me feel anxious to close doors. I think that's everything. I think that was everything I wanted to get out and vocalize to the world, publicize, get off my dome. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was kind of interesting. I like tried to script this, like as I said, I wrote in my notebook like notes, but then I kind of just talked off the dome, like, and briefly glanced at them to keep me on track. I hope this was interesting. I hope you had a good time. What are your systems that you've been using in 2026? And if they've been working for you? So far, mine are doing pretty good, I think. Yeah. Happy Lunar New Year, everyone. Happy Year of the Horse. Petit Poney. I've been scared of horses the last, like, majority of my life. I've been averse to them, but then something about this year, I think it's the fact that it is the year of the horse. I've been a really big fan of them. I think also, like, a lot of people are making horse art or, like, horse-related things, and I'm liking that. Skull Panda released the My Little Pony ones, and I said I'm not buying any more plush keychains this year, but, ooh, they're so cute. Ooh, they're so cute. I'm not gonna do it. But they're so cute. I don't know, really into horses, like, aesthetically. And also, like, Imogen and I started saying Petit Poney whenever we see one, even if it's not a Petit Poney, if it's just a regular horse. As Imogen has said many times, Petit Poney is a mindset. Yeah, sorry, horse tangent. Happy Lunar New Year. I hope this will go out, like, not too late after the New Year. I'm recording it on Lunar New Year's Eve, the 16th. For some reason, I thought it was the 28th of January, so I told my Chinese boss and manager Happy New Year. And they just were like, haha, yeah, and didn't say anything. And then this week I learned that I was really off. So I'm gonna have to go say Happy New Year again to them tomorrow. That was so embarrassing of me. I'm sorry, guys. No one corrected me, though. What the hell? Anyway, sorry. Like and subscribe if you want to. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.